Okay, Brookings, Oregon. Thank you, listeners. I am Amanda Whittemore on the Quality Living with Peaceful Support show here, broadcasting out of our cute little radio station right near Black Trumpet and Wicked Pig, downstairs next to Misty Mountain. Everyone is welcome to join us, sign up, get on in here, grab a microphone, have a chair, and tell me all about it. We really do encourage all walks of life to be in here and join us. We want to interact with our community more and more and more. We feel that everyone is important here on the Quality Living Show. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has a purpose. And we are super, super grateful to be able to have these communication tools to expand and connect with our community. So much of our world has gone into texting to where we barely even use our voice. And I read these things in different places, and one of them says, your voice is the sound of your soul. And I just like that. I think that's really important. So here on the Quality Living with Peaceful Support program, we are going to do just that. We're going to have a moment of quality living. It's going to be here with our new guest, a local from town, Mr. Garrett Smith. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Amanda.
This is so exciting. You're here in the radio station, like actually physically in the station.
We're in the same room at the same time, talking to each other instead of typing with our thumbs.
Right. It's a real thing.
Yes, it's different.
When did all that, phase out? Talking.
It's just so much easier to text,
I know, right? Yeah, it's wild. It's so wild. So
wait a minute. I still talk to ChatGPT sometimes.
Right.
And Gemini if we're not fighting, but I'm always fighting with Siri, so it's very difficult to have conversations with Siri.
Right. And then so for those that have Android, Bixby, and I ask Bixby if he's friends with Siri or Alexa, if they're all hang out when we're not paying attention. Speaking of paying attention, we're here and we're grateful to be here. Laughter is our best medicine. And how did you get here to Brookings?
Well, I drove through it.
Okay, as most people do.
Actually, well, we'll probably end up talking too much about photography and stuff, but after I moved here, I was going through some old slides, and I go, wait a minute. I took that slide in 1984 when I drove through here, when I went up to see my family, and I came down the coast, and there's pictures of me up by Port Orford from 45 years ago, just driving through. And
that was 45 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Longer than you've been around. But
barely.
The reason why I'm here now is as my mother was aging, I knew at some point I would come back because I was born 150 miles from here in Roseburg, about a 3.5-hour drive. And then I ended up, doing the whole college thing and then going to try to have a career. And then that all happened, and my mother needed some help or needed me to be close. And I did not want to live in Medford.
Yeah, well.
And it just so happens that as before, the few years before I moved here 8 years ago, I would come up in August, and she always enjoyed her favorite little coastal town was Brookings.
Oh.
I go, I've heard of Brookings. I went there before. And so when it came time for me to leave Los Angeles and come up here, this was as close as I wanted to live to Medford, where she lived.
Okay. All right.
So that coming up to help my mother is what brought me here.
Okay. No, that's really nice. And that makes a lot of sense that you stayed true to yourself, even though you were doing a really good deed. A lot of us sometimes jump off the edge, trying to help people and realize we've thrown ourselves off with them. So that's really commemorable.
Well, it also helped that she liked this town, and her and her little sister, my mom passed 3 years ago, but her little sister is just turning next month 91.
Oh, how cute.
And we would come over here for a weekend. They would come over about twice a year. And they eat down at the port. They would just come over. They'd plan it for 6 months, and they'd come over for 2 days, and they'd talk about it for 6 months and go back, And that's how I got introduced to this town. And I said, okay, why don't I just get a place and I'll get an extra room so you can come over. And she did a few times.
Nice. I love that.
It was nice.
Yeah, very supportive.
And when I moved here 8 years ago, it rained more, so I had to get used to it. But at any rate, so she's passed about 3 years ago, and so I go, wait a minute, this is kind of a nice place. So it's my home base now by choice, as opposed to that's as close as I wanted to get to.
Right, by necessity. Good. Nice. And you mentioned L.A. What exactly were you doing out in L.A.?
Well, I'm stuttering almost. I'm the first kid in my family to go to college.
Okay.
And so
Congratulations. That's a big deal.
it was a big deal. And I had to work my way through. And the number that came up was being a projectionist. So I started showing movies in anthropology, biology, whatever. So I got to see all these things by showing the little 16 millimeters. I was the guy that would unlock the cabinet with the projector and roll it out with the keys. By the time you did it, it was probably VHS, but it used to be
Beta.
cans of film. Beta. Oh, okay. So at any rate, and then in Ashland, it was Southern Oregon College back then, I ran out of courses that were like, anywhere related. So I moved to Eugene, ended up going to school there through graduate school. And I ended up meeting some people from Hollywood that later became friends. One of them wrote Puff the Magic Dragon. And
No way.
yeah, Lenny Lipton, rest his soul. And he had written a book on independent filmmaking, and 40 years later, we're having lunch at Paramount, and he told me that the book that I used in Eugene as my independent study, because in graduate school I took statistics and failed, so I said, I need to do something I like more. So I talked a teacher into letting me use Lenny Lipton's independent filmmaking book and do a chapter for a semester. And it worked out. I started doing better. And 40 years later, I'm having lunch with Lenny, and he said, well, I didn't know how to make a film, and I was hanging out with Ken Kesey and the gang. And so I figured as long as I had to learn, I might as well write it down. And that's how our lives connected.
That is really, really beautiful.
And we lost touch. While I lost touch, he went and invented a way to see 3D images on TV screens. And then some guy that sold, some hedge fund guy started this company called Real D. And so he bought Lenny's patents, and he bought Lenny for 5 years, hired another friend of mine, and they created Real D for the cinema, 3D. So if you see, like, say, Titanic and any of these big pictures, they still have 3D in some theaters.
For sure they do, yeah.
And so our lives became connected just because I read something that he wrote like 50 years ago. And then we stayed in touch for nearly 50 years with some gaps.
Wow.
And so I just followed my instincts. I enjoyed taking pictures. I enjoyed learning about filmmaking. And I just happened to land in Los Angeles in the 70s before there were VHS and before there was Beta.
Okay.
And so because I was there for it, I rode that wave for about 40 years. And it was fun. Sometimes it was hard.
Yeah,
and it was fun.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing led to the next.
Of course, yeah.
I had $100 and I knew 2 people, so I drove my Volkswagen to Los Angeles.
That is just like a true story.
It's a true story.
I love it.
And I packed 6 boxes of books in the back of the Volkswagen.
Absolutely.
Because you got to have your book.
Got to have your books entirely. I mean, I packed books when I flew to Costa Rica to move there. That's what I do. It's part of the education is real, and sharing knowledge is super important, which is why I love having ability to broadcast and share these moments.
Yeah, this is very nice, and thank you for inviting me and allowing me to talk about, the peaceful support and what I asked you about is the my current fundraiser thing. I guess you asked me how I got here, and now I think one question might be, why am I still here, right? Because I love it.
Yeah,
right?
That's my turn. Yeah, go ahead. Tell us, the current action of what exactly is happening now. We got some history of who Garrett Smith is and what his whole, some information about you, a little bit of quality time.
Well, one really simply is I was up here about better part of 5 years. Every 2 weeks, I'd go over and help my mom pay the bills, take her around shopping and everything. And it changed over time as she aged. But one of the things that she did was she had this over in Medford, they call it Food for Friends. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I would go and help her serve the elderly, which I'm soon to join. But but at any rate, when she was gone, a few months later, I realized there was a hole. And so I called up Chetco Activity Center and I started getting trained to do one of the routes for Meals on Wheels, which is very similar to the program they had over there. And that, led for me running into different people. Now I know the people from the Lions Club and the Seroptimist. And, after a couple of years, last year I was able to, and Kat Liddell over at the library, they started running where they have the book sale, they started using that as a art place to show art.
Right.
And so last year, they invited me to put my glass in, and I just decided instead of just having a show, I'm just going to give it all to them for the Seroptimists. And so with the idea that anybody who wanted to have something nice, 'cause, even though I'm not a real pro, I make pretty things, and people can get them for a very small amount of money, and they can donate, and every dime of that goes to helping kids in our community, because there's a fair amount of kids that live here in Brookings that don't even have running water. And the Seroptimists have a Seroptimist Assisting Kids, where they get the schools to open up the showers early, and they also...
Seriously?
Yes, they do. And they make little hygiene kits for boys and girls that need them, and they give them to the counselors so the kids can just go and get things that they need, to get themselves through school. And
yeah, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal.
We made enough that it made a difference, and we got a lot of kids were able to get things, and so Kat invited me back to have the show, and this time we're at both June and July. I have 2 months where you can just walk in when you're at the library. It's on the left, and if you want to make a donation, they'll unlock it and say, I want that one. Here's $20. I want that one. There's $40.
Oh, wow.
And you walk away with something, and it's a great thing for gifts for people, for birthdays. And some friends of mine were having their 29th anniversary. They bought a vase. And all of that goes to kids in our community. So that's my one version of peaceful support here in Brookings.
Well, that's a huge version of peaceful support on Times Quality Living. Because it's improving the quality of the youth in our community, the way that they live. It's that's so impressive.
But the win-win is that a long time ago, a good friend told me, and many people have told me again, reinforced it, is that if you're feeling a little bit down, one of the best things that you can do is do something kind for a complete stranger and don't tell anybody that you did it.
It's the best.
And so I started doing that, not all that often, but I did. And it works. And so I feel a little funny here talking about this, right? Because, I want to get the word out, and it makes me happy to be able to contribute. I mean, I also help with the Lions and pick up the cans for kids. That raises a bunch of money for kids to get eyeglasses through the Lions and other things in the community. The Lions Club does it by everyone just putting in those boxes, those wooden boxes.
Where are they at?
They're at Grocery Outlet, Freddy's, Rainbow Rock, and Elks Club.
Food cans or empty?
No,
soda cans.
Soda cans that are worth a dime, or even water bottles.
Okay, because I didn't know where to put mine.
Well,
Now I do.
the easiest one is Grocery Outlet.
Yeah,
It's cans spelled with K, cans for kids.
I think I've seen that, and I just didn't take a moment, and I just kept walking,
Yeah, just put it in a bag, and when you go down there, just drop it in.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
I love
and
that.
It's easy, and it helps.
Yeah.
Every little bit.
It does.
And so, the Soroptimist does many other things. They have a really great program where they sell wreaths at Christmas time, and but this is my little contribution. And it also, selfishly, it gives me an excuse to go fly down to or drive down to Santa Barbara, where I used to live. And my friend has a glassblowing studio. So I go see some friends and family and make something, because it's really fun to do, to make glass. It's one of the things. It's between that and photography would be my favorite things.
How did you get into glass art?
My sister, when her kids were in gymnastic trip, they were going from Reno to Hawaii like 30-some years ago. And one of their friends fell out, and they said, "We got a hotel room if you want to buy a ticket and go to." And I had nothing to do. I didn't want to sit around and look at the gymnast, so I went wandering around Honolulu, and I stumbled on a bead store.
Oh.
And back then, $20 later got me all the tools and a few beads. And I started making earrings.
Oh, how
And then I thought someday I want to make some beads.
Yeah.
And then one day, like 26 years ago, I was in Seattle getting a tour of a friend's house. And I saw this weird little glass. And I said, "Where'd you get that?" He says, "I made it." And he gave me the card. And my first teacher was Katharine Hepburn's nephew, Kai Hepburn. Here's a shout out for Kai and Bainbridge Island.
Amazing.
And I used to go there once or twice a year until I found Saul in Santa Barbara. It was a lot closer to L.A.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my dear heavens. This is just good, gushy stuff right here behind the scenes of Garrett Smith. I love it. That's a lot. That's quite an experience.
Like I said, I had no idea I was going to ever make any earrings. But I looked at it, and it just, all of a sudden I turned around, and there was a bead store.
Do you still make them?
Yes, but I haven't made any for a while.
Okay, all right.
The next time the Lions Club has a booth, I donated a bunch to them.
Okay.
And it's on my list
Okay, all right.
to make some more.
And so what we would really like to bring attention to out of this phenomenal session here is that at the library, listeners, everyone is welcome to bring their friends and family to go there. If you haven't seen the library, I love libraries. I'm a library collector. That's like one of the things, if I go somewhere, I'll go to the library.
We have a really nice library.
Phenomenal library. Yeah. And in that library, when you first walk in, onto the left is where there's a display case, and there's a bunch of phenomenal, beautiful glass pieces, handmade glass blown art from Garrett Smith that he is donating to the Seroptimus to support keeping our youth that are without water at their homes for one reason or another, to be clean and to have hygiene and all these beautiful care packages, and to have some extra community support. And at the same time, you get something pretty to remind yourself of how important it is to support people in our community.
That sums it up really well. You ought to do this more often. Oh, you do?
I just, today's a good day. You got me on a good day. Some of these shows, I wonder about myself. I'm like, do I keep doing this? So at the library, that is where they can find your art pieces.
From now until the end of July.
Okay. All right.
So just when you're in the neighborhood, stop by, and if you see something you like, and it makes you feel good, you get something. Most people like it. It looks pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty.
And by the way, don't get me wrong, they're nowhere near really great. I mean, sometimes people look at my fish and they say, "Is that a bird?" And sometimes I say, "I'm not sure." Because sometimes I'll start to make a bird and it turns into a fish. And sometimes I'll start to make a fish and it turns into a paperweight.
Well, I can relate because I did have one session where I was in San Francisco, Berkeley. I was in Berkeley, and there was a warehouse, and we were doing other things, and there was a table open with the little torches, and they were teaching how to do glass blown art. And everybody was making circles except for this kid. They're like, it's the easiest thing to do. I'm like, not really. I tried so hard to make a circle, and I kept making hearts. But that's just what's coming out of me naturally. So
yes.
I just was really happy.
Very soulful person, so that fits.
Yeah. But I can understand the fish. Maybe it's a duck. I don't know what it is, but yeah. And it's fun, though. The experience in itself is the art of creativity is just something so unique that it's tangible. You can share it with somebody.
Well, this last, and I'm going to go back next month, and the latest thing that I made were little starfish.
Oh, cool.
But right now, I'm still at the starfish SpongeBob face. My teacher can make some that look really nice, and mine are kind of, they're pretty, but it's sort of the concept. That might be a star.
It's a Picasso.
And I think I think there's called something besides the starfish, but that's what I called them when I was a kid, so that's what I still call them.
Yeah, I think, like the actual fish or the ones that
No,
stick on
the
rocks?
sea star.
Sea star.
Are they sea stars or starfish? I don't know.
Well, now I'm
it's
perplexed.
A question for the universe.
Yeah, we're going to have to throw that out to the listeners. If you guys want to call in and answer that question, 541-661-4098. I can't really tell you the exact turnaround time on these responses here of who's answering. However, we will get to it. You can even email contact@kciw.org, because eventually we're going to see your question, and it relates to different shows. You're welcome to look back at all the other episodes we have online and just bust out a couple questions. Like, let us have it. I really would love to hear from you. Yeah, I mean, and you're welcome to join me in the studio anytime. It's a lot of fun.
It is very much a lot of fun. I mean, your yoga classes are pretty nice, but, I don't get to laugh as much in yoga.
Right. We may have to bring in, there's a teacher in, Chris, if you're listening out there in Pistol River, you're invited to teach at the Peaceful Support Yoga Studio. He does laughing yoga.
Oh, I would like that.
Me too. I I think everybody out there, everyone's invited. We'll coordinate it. We'll make it happen.
And sometimes you can even play pickleball.
Well, I mean, that is difficult to do laughing.
Oh, no, you can do it laughing, especially when you play like me.
Okay. Well, we're going to have to make a day of it. And I'm really grateful that you had a moment to come in here. And we actually would, before we end, we need to ask you, how do you define the word quality?
I was afraid you were going to ask this.
Okay, good.
So I think it's being faithful to either a concept or a physical thing that somebody loved enough to create, and honoring that and carrying it. I took movies and put them on video. Mm-hmm. That was my job. I supervised that. And I wanted it to be exactly how the director and cinematographer wanted it to be, even though a movie screen back then was different than a TV screen. And that's what I spent my years down there doing, keeping the quality of their dream,
the origin,
their vision,
yeah,
and transferring it through.
Ooh, through the portal.
Through that portal.
I love it. Thank you, listeners, for being here on this radio station with us through these ear portals. Thank you, Garrett, for your time.
Thank you, Amanda.
All right.